Welcome to Park City Television's Drink of the Week. Today we are joined by Jimmy Santangelo, the virtual sommelier. Jimmy, thanks so much for coming in. What are we talking about this afternoon?
We are featuring today Sauvignon Blancs from around the world. We're going to look at their primary areas where they're produced: France, New Zealand, as well as California.
And what are some of the hallmarks of a Sauvignon Blanc?
Sauvignon Blancs is a very aromatic grape varietal, and they express differently from the different regions that they're from.
How is that possible?
Well, it's the climate, the soil, winemaker, a lot of differences. We can walk through some of these if you'd like.
Let's do it.
So we have a Sauvignon Blanc, which is from France in an area called the Loire Valley. In the upper Loire, there's two little regions called Sancerre and Pouilly-Fumé. This is a high content of limestone soil, and in their best productions, you'll see more of a flinty, kind of gunflint character. On the palate, it's the lightest of the Sauvignon Blancs, and almost a chalky minerality.
And, one of the things you mentioned is, looking at the label here, it doesn't say Sauvignon Blanc, it says Sancerre. So this is one of those things, if you see something in the wine store that says Sancerre or Pouilly-Fumé.
Pouilly-Fumé, that's right. The French do not traditionally put their varietals on the wine label, the grape, the name of the grape. And Pascal Jolivet is the producer here from Sancerre. They're 2008 vintage. So you'll have to know that Sancerre or Pouilly-Fumé, Sauvignon Blanc is the grape in there.
Okay, and then let's move on to New Zealand, where you said in France it's more of a flinty flavor. New Zealand goes a little fruitier.
Yeah, they really capture the imagination, I believe, of people when they think of Sauvignon Blanc, that citrus character, your lemons, your grapefruits, your limes. And New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc certainly captures that. Different, they're not as inland or continental, they're along the coast, so you get racier, higher acidity, a little bit more body into it, a little bit more, but definitely that citrus characteristic and component.
And then when we move on to California, you've got fruit of a different color.
That's right. The Californians, you have that nice big sunshine that comes through. You're going to have the grapes going to be a little juicier. It also is the Californians. This is a product, Susan Selby out of Sonoma County. She has her Sauvignon Blanc, rather than aging or having it set for a while in barrel, she adds a different grape to it to soften and round those edges. Just a few percentages of Semillon grape varietal, which does the trick, but it's only 5-6%. A lot of Sauvignon Blanc in there. It's going to round the edges. And the aromatic characters are more of that kiwi, melon, honeydewish kind of aromatic.
Which is kind of interesting because when you think of kiwi fruit, you think of New Zealand, and when you think of citrus fruit, you think of California. But in fact, when it comes to wine, it's a little bit reversed. Now, you mentioned that you can really smell the aromatics, and one of the things that you do as part of as a wine educator is to train people as to recognize those scents.
That's right. What we do is we adopt a technique where we offer a visual as well as aromatic component that represents the primary aromatic of the wine. We're not trying to imitate the smell of the wine. We're just trying to pull out the primary aromatic component and represent it in the glass. And what we're doing here is a technique of positively biasing your olfactory senses. And so we'll nose the fruit.
Okay.
Nose the wine and see if there's any cross connect.
Well, I definitely smell the grapefruit coming right out of that big glass of grapefruit. And yes, you can get a hint of some of a lot of the citrusy notes that you get from there in this one.
Yeah, it's a great technique to make it approachable. We're specifically nosing and tasting here the Spy Valley Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand. And it really has those citrus components, whether it's the lime that might come in through there or the lemon, but the grapefruit, I think, is that primary that peaks to the top. And it makes the wine more approachable. It allows us, whether we're in the service professional, a wine enthusiast, it really captures the style of wine from this area.
All right, Jimmy, thanks so much for bringing all of these in. If people want more information on how they can learn more about wine, where do they go?
The Wine Academy of Utah, and any questions that you may have, info@wineacademyofutah.com.
Jimmy, thanks so much for coming in.
Pleasure.
L'chaim. We'll be back with a whole lot more right after this.
Drink of the Week is brought to you by Butchers and by these fine sponsors.